Hi everyone, this is Kunal from Unico Solution. In the previous video, we have seen how a connection is established between the Magento system and the Informatica cloud. Now in the next set of videos, we will cover all the operations that are supported by the connector. So let's start with the insert operation. So we log into the Informatica cloud session, as well as we would want the users to log into the Magento system using their system admin user, because whatever operation that we perform in the cloud using the connector, we want to make sure that the data is reflected correctly over here. So let's go to catalog manage products. There are no correct products in here, but at the end of this operation, we should have data in here using the insert operation. So back into the cloud, let's go to the connections. Here we are seeing all the connections that are already configured. Let's go to the demo connection that we have already created for the Magento settings. So let's go there and edit any values that if we need. The key secret token values you should receive from your Magento system admin. And let's put these values or edit if anything is needed. And let's test the connection with the Magento system. So let's perform the test and we will see that the test should be successful and we are connected to the Magento system. So now we'll go to task wizards because now we're going to start defining the operation that we perform. So let's go to wizard data synchronization. So these are all the tasks already created. So let's start with the new definition. Now these are type ahead fields, so it will start showing you all the tasks that have already been created or tested, or people have tried different things. But since we are trying to completely new one, we should give it a name that doesn't exist and we can call it an add demo. The description is not a required field, but you can provide so that you know what kind of an operation or task this is going to perform. So task operation is then another drop down where we'll list down all the operations that are supported by this connector. So you will see an insert update. So let's perform an insert operation. Let's go to the next, which is the source. So now source is going to be a flat file because mostly we are going to create some flat file CSV files, which will have the test data. So as you can see, we have already created some data files over here. It's a CSV comma separated files, which details all the products that we want to insert into the Magento system. So back into the Informatica session, we will select a flight file connection that has been created as one of the connections. And we will select the file that we want to insert that contains all the data that we want to insert. So the source object would be the product.csv file. Once we see that, it shows the data preview of all the data from the file that will get inserted. Let's go to the target. Now our target is going to be the Magento system. So we're going to use the connection as the connector connection that we had created like a step before. So we're going to call the Magento demo connection, which is going to be the target one. The target object is the table where we want to insert all the values from the CSV, so which will be the products. And if there are child object, you can select those. Well, currently there's no data, so the preview is empty. So now we can go on to the next setting, which is the data filters. So we can have custom filters over here, what we want to process. But for the test, we're not going to change anything because we want all the data to be copied from the CSV to the target. Now the field mapping between the source and the target shows the column mapping that is existing. So Informatica already does this for us, but a user can do another set of changes that if they're not happy with any mappings, they can remove some columns or they can map it to a different things altogether. Then let's go on to the next step, which is the schedule. Now when do you want this, since it's a synchronization task, when do you want to run it? It can be on a specific schedule or it can just run whenever you want, like you can have this task. So all these possible values are there where as we have filters, we have schedule where user wants it or doesn't want to schedule it. So let's keep it default where we will say when we want to run it and just save and close. So this will actually create, well, we're going to say save and run, save and close, but let's call it save and run. So that way, once we save it, it'll start executing at the same time. So once it's there, now you can see that there is a start time because we have set run. Let's refresh it, so you will also see it's continuing running. There's no end time, so the current processing is still running. So we can go to the active monitor and you can see the log as well as the monitors, all the operations that's happening. So let's wait for it to complete. Okay, and once we have completed it, you will see there is an end time associated with it, and the status is marked as success. So now we can go and drill down and see what has happened. We can see there are 18 rows successfully done. We can also look at the session log to provide you how much time or what operations and what exactly happened behind the scenes. It's a log, it's a completely plain text file, but all the operation and details, like as much information you want, you can get from there. So now let's look at the system. We will see that if we refresh it now, we should have all the products that we created have been inserted over here. Yes, so now the insert operation was successful. All the Magento has all the products populated. So going back into the session, we'll drill down and see a few products. But back over here, when we actually click on the task name, you can actually see all the settings that we had done, all the filters we had defined, schedule we had done, the mapping, source, and the target. So this is the properties of the task. We can edit something directly from here and run it once again, or save it and then schedule it to run every hour or every day. But this gives you the entire breakdown of what the settings were we were used to for this task.